Hello, how are you? I'm a little tired. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is on February 11th, 2024. It's on Sunday and sunny. How are you spending Sunday? Do you have a work or a school today? Or have you got a day off today? When I was a high school student, I used to take preliminary examinations on even Sunday in preparation for center test in my generation. Have you taken classes even on Sundays? Have you taken examinations on Sundays? Examinations for a qualification are usually held on Sunday in Japan. Examinations are usually held on Sunday in Japan. Examinations and events are usually held on Sunday or Saturday. Owning a car is nor interesting nor cheap for me. I'm interested in neither cars nor houses. I'm interested in neither cars nor houses. Hmm. I like neither smoking nor drinking alcoholic beverages. I like neither drinking alcoholic beverages nor smoking cigarettes. Neither drinking alcoholic beverages too much nor smoking cigarettes too much is not good for health. Work on your study on a daily basis, or else, or otherwise, you will end up needing a lot of amount of work later at the last minute. You might even give up. You should give apology to the person to whom you did damage, or else. Otherwise, you might be got even with. You might be retaliated. You might be got revenge on. You ought to give apology to the person whom you did damage to. Or, or else, otherwise, he or she might get even with you. He or she may get revenge on you, get even with you. I hope not. We are better off living now. Or else, otherwise, we might miss the last train. Living in urban cities is convenient in that there are many public transportation, shops, entertainments, and so on. Living in the countryside is peaceful in that there are less interferences from around. Living in the countryside is more affordable in that the rent for the apartments is usually cheaper than that in urban cities. Living in a countryside is more affordable in that we can buy the same size of a house for cheaper price. Living in an urban city is more convenient in that there are many public transportation, shops, entertainments, recreational facilities, and so on. The student is very excellent in that he was never absent from school. The student is excellent in that he hasn't been absent from school. He hasn't been absent from school. The new type of the product is superior to the previous model in that it lasts longer, have as much as half as much again as the previous model. The new battery is more sophisticated in that it can last half as longer again as half as half as long again as the previous model. The new battery is more sophisticated in that it can last half as long again as the previous model. The new type of the product is more sophisticated in that the durability is half as much again as the previous model. The new type of the product is sophisticated more in that it lasts half as long again as the previous model. The new type of the product is more sophisticated in that it lasts half as long again as the previous model. Taking a bus to the destination is better in that I can save money. On the other hand, on the contrary, taking a flight to the destination is more convenient and easier in that I can save my energy and time. Taking a flight to the destination is better in that I can save time and energy. Taking a bus to the destination is better in that I can save money. Taking a flight to the destination is better in that I can save money and I can save energy and time. Urban cities seem to be very attractive in that there are many shops. Urban cities appear to be very attractive in that there are many shops. Some influencers look so gorgeous and happy in that their pictures are very gorgeous. Utilizing social networking service for advertisement is good in that those exposed on the internet will be viewed by people in the world. Advertising something through the internet is a good idea and good strategy in that those exposed in the internet on the internet will be viewed by people in the world. Social networking service or internet is a good tool to advertise something in that those on the internet will be viewed easily by people. Coffee, drinking a cup of coffee is good in that I can concentrate on my study. Drinking a cup of coffee is good for me in that it helps me to concentrate on something. Taking a cup of coffee is good in that I can It can help me to concentrate on my study, work, and so on. A cup of coffee helps me concentrate on my study. A cup of coffee helps me study something. A cup of coffee helps me concentrate on something. A cup of coffee or caffeine included in that helps me concentrate on something. Underground shopping arcade is good in that we can enjoy shopping whether it is raining or not. Take obtaining the driving license with mission is good in that we can drive both automatic and mission cars with it. The new type of the product is more sophisticated in that it can last half as long again as the previous model. The new type of the product is more sophisticated in that it can last half as long again as the previous model. Driving a car at night is more dangerous in that the sight is unclear enough. Driving a car in the night is more dangerous than driving in the daytime in that the sight is darker, the sight is unclear. Driving a car at night is more dangerous in that the sight is not clear enough. Driving a car at night is more dangerous than driving in the daytime in that the sight is not clear. The view is not clear. Having a travel on weekdays is my strategy and it's good in that usually the accommodations and flight tickets are cheaper. Traveling on weekdays is cheaper in that the prices for accommodations and flight tickets are usually cheaper. Traveling on weekdays is usually more reasonable in that the prices for accommodations and flight tickets are usually cheaper on weekdays. As long as I know. As far as I know. As far as computer is concerned, he is the knowledgeable the most in the class. As far as computer is concerned, he has the most knowledge in the class. I ate the chocolate bread in that the use by date was the earliest. I have 5 pieces of bread, 5 different types of bread in my fridge, and I ate the one with chocolate chips inside. In that, the use by date was was the earliest among the 5. I had 5 different kinds of bread in my fridge, and this morning, I ate the one with chocolate chips inside. In that, the use by date of the bread was earliest. I usually have a trip on weekdays in that the flight tickets and accommodations are cheaper. I hate to go to the tourist spots on weekends in that they are always crowded with tourists. I usually avoid going to the tourist spots on weekends in that there are many customers, tourists. I usually avoid going to the tourist spots on weekends in that there are always a lot of tourists waiting in front of shops, restaurants, tourist spots, observatory, everywhere. I usually avoid going to the tourist spots on weekends. In that, there are many tourists. The place where I live might be safer in that it is located on high, higher ground, as high as about 50 meters. The place where I live might be safer, in that it is located on the hill as high as about 50 meters. The place where I live might be safer in that it is located on the hill as high as 50 meters when it comes to tsunami. But I'm afraid of the landsliding. The place where I live may be safer in that it is farther from the sea when it comes to tsunami. But I'm frightened of landsliding. The place where I live is might be safer in that it is far away from the ocean. The air conditioner is convenient in that it works both heater and air conditioner. My air conditioner is very convenient in that it can work both as heater and cooler. My air conditioner is very convenient in that it can work uh, both as both heater and cooler. My air conditioner is very convenient in that it can work as both heater and cooler. The student is very excellent, that he hasn't been absent from school ever. The student is very excellent in that he hasn't been absent from school yet. My job has a privilege in that I can work inside. My working environment is a little bit blessed in that I can work inside. My working environment may be a little bit blessed in that I can work inside. Well, some people prefer to work outside, so it depends on your perspective, point of view, viewpoint. Taking the bus to the destination is better in that I can save money. However, taking the flight to the destination is better in that I can save energy and time. I don't like to have lunch at the school cafe in that I have to wait for at least 10 minutes. I don't like to eat lunch at the school cafe in that I have to wait in the line to buy the food ticket in front of the vending machine. I don't like to eat lunch at the school cafe in that I have to wait in line to buy the food ticket in front of the vending machine. I don't like to go to the tourist spots on weekends in that there are many tourists. I don't like to go to the restaurant on weekends in that there are many customers. She played the game for the first time, and yet he won beginner's luck. She played the game for the first time, but yet she won beginner's luck. The challenger matched with the champion for the first time, and yet he won over. Although everybody expected the champion to win over the challenger, and yet the challenger beat the champion. Although everybody expected the champion to beat the challenger, on the contrary, and yet The challenger beat the champion. Hmm. Although everybody expected the champion to win over the challenger, but yet the challenger beat the champion on the contrary. I usually prepare for everything twice as long as others, and yet I cannot be excellent at it. I can just be average. Although I practice and prepare for something half as half as long again as others, and yet I can just be average. Although I prepare for my examination half as long again as others, but yet I can just be average. I studied hard. I studied half as hard again as other classmates, but yet my score was average. I studied half as hard again as other classmates, but yet my score was average. Although I studied half as hard again as others, but yet my score was average. I studied half as hard again as others. I studied half as hard again as others, and yet my score was average. I studied until 2 o'clock a.m. and yet I couldn't get perfect score. I studied until 2 o'clock a.m. and yet I couldn't get the perfect score on the test. It has been raining since last Monday. Therefore, I haven't dried my laundry outside. It has been raining since last Monday, so I haven't dried my laundry yet. It's been raining since last Monday, hence I haven't dried my laundry outside. I'm relying on electric dryer. Electrical dryer. I'm relying on electrical dryer. So I'm relying on electrical dryer. Relying on electrical dryer. It's been raining since last Monday, so I am resorting to the last strategy. using the electrical dryer. The shopping mall is very crowded to enter on weekends. Hence, I skipped going there. Having access to the shopping mall is very congested. The approach to the shopping mall is usually very congested on weekends. Therefore, I changed my plan and decided to go there on weekdays. The approach to the shopping mall is very crowded on weekends. Hence, I changed my mind and decided to go there on weekdays. I want not a vague but articulate answer from you. I'm sick and tired of your vague answer to my questions. I'm sick and tired of your vague answer to my questions. I'm tired of your vague, ambiguous, obscure answers to my questions. I'm tired of your obscure, ambiguous, vague answers to my questions. I want your articulate answers. I want your not vague but articulate direct answer from you. We are expecting not vague but articulate answer from you. Vague. I'm not expecting your vague answers. I'm sick and tired of your vague answers. I'm fed up with your vague answers. I'm fed up with your vague answers. I am 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 fed up with your vague answers. He is rumored to have tremendous amount of asset in his bank account. He is rumored to have tremendous amount of asset in his bank account. It is rumored that he has a tremendous amount of money in his bank account. The watch worn by the person proved to be false. The watch worn by the person turned out to be false. The watch worn by the person turned out to be false. 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 The story told by the salesperson proved to be false. Proved false. Proved false. The insurance plan advertised by the salesperson turned out to be false. Turned false. Turned out false. Turned out false. Proved false. Proved false. Proved to be false. It was raining so heavily outside. Nonetheless, we enjoyed playing baseball. The typhoon was approaching. Nonetheless, the festival was held. The festival took place. I was the type of person who never lingered on after class. I was the type of person who never lingered on at class after class. I was the type of person who never lingered on at class after class. I was the type of person who never lingered on after class I was the type of person who never lingered on after class. Skepticism. Everybody casts skepticism on the person who was at the criminal site when the accident happened. Everybody is casting a skepticism on the person who was at the criminal venue when the accident occurred, brought about, arose. I cast skepticism on him. And this is a concern with skepticisms. This is the case with skepticism. Doubt. Doubt. Skepticism. Were you the type of person who lingered on after class? Were you the type of person who lingered on after class? Were you the type of person who lingered on after class? Were you the type of person who lingered on after class? Were you the type of person who lingered on? Are you the type of person who liked to linger on after class, talking, enjoying having conversation with the teacher, classmates, and so on? Were you the type of person who liked lingering on after class, Were you the type of person who liked lingering on after class, talking with their teacher, classmates, and so on? Although the Supreme Court ruled that the person was innocent, still skepticism lingers on him. Although the Supreme Court ruled that the person was innocent, some skepticism still lingers on. Some skepticism 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 lingers on. I was the type of person who never lingered on after class. I wanted to go home as fast as I could. I wanted to go home as early as possible, as early as possible, as early as I could, as possible as I can, as I could, as fast as I could, as fast as I could, as fast as possible. I am 5 years junior to her. I am 5 years senior to her. I am 5 years senior to her. She is 5 years junior to me. She is 5 years junior to me. She is my junior by 5 years. She is my junior by 5 years. I am her senior by 5 years. She is 5 years junior to me. She is 5 years junior to me. I am 5 years senior to her. I sometimes wonder how my previous senior colleague is doing. I sometimes wonder how my previous senior colleague is doing. I sometimes wonder how my senior colleague from my previous company is doing. I sometimes wonder how the senior colleague from my previous workplace is doing. We helped each other at the workplace. The politician is suspected of taking bribes from the company. The politician is doubted of accepting bribes. The politician is suspected of accepting bribes. The politician is suspected of taking 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 bribes. I suspect you of eating my chocolate. I suspect you of eating my strawberry cake. I suspect you of eating my precious strawberry cake in the fridge. I bought 2 pieces of the cake and there is only one left in the fridge. And we live together. So only criminal is you. Hmm. Hmm. The company is suspecting the previous employee of leaking the confidential information. The company is suspecting the previous employee of leaking the confidential information. The company is suspecting the previous employee, of leaking the classified information, which must be kept secret. I suspect you of eating my strawberry cake. I suspect you of eating my precious, desired strawberry cake. I suspect you of eating my desired strawberry cake. I suspect you of eating my strawberry cake. I was looking forward to eating it. I was looking forward to eating it. But you destroyed my dream, my pastime, my recreation for today, my pleasure for today. You destroyed my pleasure for today. I suspected the staff of hiding some cameras for the prank story in the room because their behavior was very different from usual. I already suspected the staff of hiding some cameras in the room for prank to see my reaction to the prank. The person is suspected of burgling into the house. The person is suspected of breaking into the house. The person is suspected of breaking in the bank account. Bank. The person is suspected of breaking into the house in the middle of the midnight. The person is suspected of breaking into the house in the middle of the midnight. The person is suspected of stealing some money from the bank account. The student is suspected of cheating on the examination. The student is suspected of cheating on the examination. The person is suspected of cheating on the examination. The person is suspected of cheating on the examination. The person is suspected of cheating on the examination. The person is suspected of cheating on the examination. The person is suspected on cheating on the examination. The teacher is suspecting the student of cheating on the examination. The teacher is suspecting the student of cheating on the examination. The police officers are suspecting the person of speeding. The police officers are suspecting the person of speeding. The governor is suspected of taking bribes from the company. The cabinet member is suspected of taking bribes from a company. The cabinet member, the parliament member, is suspected of taking bribes, accepting bribes. The diet member is suspected of taking a bribe from the company over the 10 years. The cabinet member is suspected of accepting bribes over 10 days, over the 10 years from the company. The parliament member is suspected of taking bribes from the company over 10 years. Hmm. 20,000 yen might be sufficient in order to make a living for some people. 2,000 yen might be sufficient to survive regarding their food monthly. 20,000 yen might be enough regarding monthly food for some people. For some people, 20,000 yen might be sufficient regarding monthly food. 20,000 yen might be sufficient with respect to monthly food. Is 5-minute walk sufficient on a daily exercise? Is 5-minute walk sufficient in order to maintain my health? Is a 5-minute walk sufficient to maintain my health? Is 5-minute walk exercise sufficient to maintain my health? Do you think a 5-minute walk exercise is sufficient to maintain my health? Do you think 5-minute walk exercise is sufficient to maintain my health? Who is in charge of the cooking this meal? This meal was so tasty and a kind of art. I'd like to talk with the chef. Excuse me, but who is in charge of cooking this cuisine? Because the taste was very good, I'd like to have a word with the chef if possible. Thank you. My ideas never fail to be dismissed for crazy ideas. My crazy ideas, proposals, suggestions never fail to be dismissed by the boss. Have you ever been in charge of the cashier? Have you ever been in charge of the cashier? Have you ever been in charge of the sales? Have you ever been involved in sales department? Have you ever been in charge of the sales? Have you ever been in charge of sales? Have you ever been in charge of the sales? Have you ever been in charge of 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 sales? The employee was dismissed for repeated negligence at work. The employee was dismissed for repeated negligence. The employee was dismissed for repeated negligence. The employee was dismissed for repeated wrongdoings. The employee was dismissed for corruption. The employee was dismissed for the corruption. The employee was dismissed for the corruption. The employee was dismissed for the corruption. The employee was The employee was dismissed for the corruption. The employee was dismissed for repeated corruption. The employee was dismissed for repeated wrongdoings. The employee was dismissed for repeated negligence at work over the 10 years. The employee was dismissed for leaking confidential information. Although there was no reason to dismiss me, the company dismissed me. Although there was no reason to dismiss me, and I was dismissed, laid off, fired. Don't find fault with others. Don't find fault with others. Don't try to find fault with others. Don't try to find fault with others. Mind your own business. Mind your own business. It's none of your 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 business. Mind your own business. Mind your own business. Mind your own business. To the best of my knowledge, Mount Fuji is the highest mountain in Japan. To the best of knowledge, there is a phone shop in the shopping mall. To the best of my knowledge, the criminal was very generous and kind at school when we were together. At school. To the best of knowledge, he engaged in the project. To the best of knowledge, he is very familiar with universe. To the best of my knowledge, he is very interested in physics. To the best of knowledge, He is very interested in universe, the universe. To the best of my knowledge, he is very interested in video games. One of his hobbies is to collect game consoles, as many as possible. To the best of my knowledge, reaching out to the mantle with artificial tools is impossible as of now. To the best of my knowledge, reaching to the mantle area of the Earth by using artificial tools is impossible right now, and many sun companies failed in the trial. To the best of my knowledge, reaching to the mantle area, mantle section, mantle layer of the Earth with artificial tools was impossible as of now. To the best of my knowledge, reaching the mantle layer of the Earth with artificial tools has been impossible as of now. To my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to 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 the best of my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to my knowledge, to my knowledge, to my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge. There was a toy store in front of the house. To the best of my knowledge, yearly revenue of the company reached 200 billion dollars, 200 billion yen in the company when I left the company. To the best of my knowledge, the yearly revenue of the company when I left the company reached 200 billion yen. Now it earns more. Incredible. To the best of my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to 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 the best of my knowledge, to my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to 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 the best of my knowledge, to 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 my knowledge. To my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to my knowledge, to my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge. To the best of my knowledge, to my knowledge, to my knowledge, to my knowledge, to my knowledge, as far as I know, as far as I know. I will let you go outside as long as you have finished your homework by noon. I will lend you my DVD of the artist as long as you return it to me by the deadline perfectly with very beautiful condition. To my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, over and over again, time and time again, time and again, over and again. To my knowledge, to the best of 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 my knowledge, to my knowledge, to my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to my knowledge, to my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge. At long last, he finally showed up at the station, keeping me waiting for 30 minutes. To my knowledge, to the best of 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 my knowledge. the university is very strong at job hunting. To the best of my knowledge, the accommodation offers the same fixed price even on weekends. So I booked a single room uh, in the hotel to take advantage of the fixed price. I really appreciate it. To my knowledge, the accommodation offers the same fixed price whole day, including weekends. As far as I know, to the best of my knowledge, the accommodation offers the same fixed price even on weekends. That's why I like it. That's why I always book a hotel room in the hotel. That's why I always book a room in the hotel. To my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to my knowledge, to my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge. Tokyo Sky Tree Tower is tallest, with a height of 634 meters in Japan. To my knowledge, there is a shuttle bus going from and to the hotel, available 24 hours. To the best of my knowledge, there is a bus running from and to the station. Have you ever been involved in educational industry? Have you ever been involved in the universe project? Have you ever been involved in a large-scale event? The man is suspected of being involved in the criminal activity. The man is suspected of being involved in the criminal activity. The man is suspected of being involved in the criminal activity. The man is suspected of being engaged in the criminal activity. The man is suspected of engaging in the criminal activity. The man is suspected of engaging in the illegal gambling. The man is suspected of being involved in the drug trafficking. The man is suspected of being involved in the illegal transaction. The man is suspected of engaging in the illegal transactions. The man is suspected of being engaged in the illegal transactions. The man is suspected of engaging in the illegal drug trafficking. I know better than to place my trust in such a fraud scheme. I know better than to place my trust in such a fraud scheme. Fraud scheme, fraudulent scheme, fraud, 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 fraud. I made my way to master's degree in order to find out more about physics. I made my way to master's degree in order to find out more about physics. I made my way to master's degree in the physics field in order to find out more about the universe. I made my way to master's degree in the physics field in order to find out more about the universe. The prosecutors are examining documents and relevant documents in the criminal's house. The prosecutors executed the raid on the criminal's house to investigate and examine relevant documents from his house. The sudden raid into his criminal's house was taken by surprise by everybody. Even imagining a pile of tasks on my desk depressed me during the travel. Even imagining a pile of tasks on my desk depresses me. Even imagining a pile of tasks on my desk, which I have to deal with later, depresses me during the trip. Even imagining a heap of tasks on my desk which I have to deal with later depresses me. Even a pile of tasks on my desk which I have to cope with later depresses me. Let me examine the route which I took. I may find my belongings on the route. Let me examine the route which I took. My belonging must be on the route because I'm sure I dropped from the stage between the station and my house. Let me examine the route which I took between my house and the station. I'm sure I dropped my wallet between the station and the house, so it must be still there, unless it was stolen by somebody or picked up by a kind person to bring it to the police station. Let me examine the route which I took between my house and the station. I'm certain, I'm confident that I dropped my wallet between the street. So maybe hopefully I will find my wallet along the way, unless it has been stolen by somebody or picked up to bring it to a police station. Let me examine the route I took between my house and the station. I'm certain that I dropped my wallet along the route. So hopefully I will find my wallet unless it has been stolen by somebody or picked up by somebody to bring it to a police station. Firefighters are examining the house to spot the cause of the fire. 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 The plumber came to my house to examine the cause of the leaking water. The plumber came to my house to examine the cause of the leaking water. My grandfather, who was a mechanic, came to my house to examine the hose of my bathroom to stop the leaking water, to stop the water from leaking from the hose, to stop the water from leaking from the hose, to stop the water from leaking. My grandfather, who was a previous mechanic, came to my house to examine the cause, of the leaking water from the hose. My grandfather, who was a previous mechanic, came to my house to examine the cause of the leaking water from the hose. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.